Hello viewers, thanks for watching the videos. So today we'll learn about constructor inheritance modules. We will also go through some utility methods and lambda. Now if you have not watched our previous videos, I would recommend you to go and watch the previous videos so that you can understand the Python from beginning, because these are some advanced topics. Now we'll start with constructor and then we'll move gradually till lambda in this episode. So this is the class that we have declared, employee. To declare a class, we write class employee. To define a constructor, remember how we define the constructor. It's double underscore, init double underscore. Okay, and then the parameter that we want. We already know how to define a method. Okay, constructor is defined like this. Now constructor is called when we create the object. And how do we create the object? We already know employee. We have created a new employee object. This constructor uses two parameters. So we have passed two arguments here. Constructor is basically used to initialize the values or the property values that of the class. So we have initialized A and B property from here, and if we'll print employee object A, it will get printed. Let me show you this part. I'll increase some font size for you. On Windows it's Control Shift A is the shortcut. Now I'll run the program, and in the program you have seen the value of A. I am accessing the property A through the object and it's getting printed here. Now if you want to change the value which is default assigned while calling the constructor, we can change that as well. So initially B is assigned with value 20, but if you want to change the value, we can just do like this, and if I'll run the program again, you can see it will print for B 21. So 21 gets printed. Moving ahead, if you want to delete a property, you can delete like del. With the help of object you can delete. If you want to call a method, that we already know, I'm just reminding you all here, with the help of object dot then method name. So this method will get called employee salary, and it will return the value that will stored in salary, and then we'll print it here. Salary is the variable. Now if you want to delete an object, you can delete the employee object here with the help of delete. Now just a guideline of the theory part for self. So self, we can rename it anything, but it needs to be the first parameter inside the constructor. Self means it is referring to the class itself. Okay, the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class, and it is used to access variables that belongs to the class. It doesn't needs to be named self, you can have it anything. So when we create through PyCharm, it gives its name self by default. Okay, now if I'll run it, let me run the program. So I'm calling the salary, that's why this gets printed. Now I have deleted the object as well. Okay, so this is about the constructor. Remember how to declare it with this. Now we'll move ahead for the second thing that we'll learn today, that is inheritance. Why we use inheritance? Please go and watch some videos about OOPS principle. So inheritance is one of the OOPS principle. It avoids repeat of code. It follows the dry principles. Dry means do not repeat yourself. Dry principles of coding is implemented through this. It allows method reuse or the code reuse. Inheritance allows us to define a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class. So here we have a concept of parent class or base class and the child class. So the class which gets inherited is the parent class, or we call it base class, and the class which inherited is the child class. So here I have defined a class, parent class human, where I have defined a method happy, and I inherited it inside employee and also inside student. Now by default all the methods or properties is available to the employee class. If we don't want to of the human class to employee, it will get inherited. So is happy is also available to employee. Now why we have written pass? So if employee class doesn't need to define any of its own variables, attributes or methods, we can just write pass. Here I have, even though I have inherited human class with the help of which is happy method gets inherited here, but I can override it. So if I'll call is happy from a student object, then this will get printed, and if I'll call is happy method with the help of employee object, this method will get called. So to show that, let me run this program. So due to this employee object is happy, yes it gets printed and no is getting printed because of this, because it has overridden the parent method. If we'll just write pass here as well, in this case let me run it. Student don't have its own method, so in both the case yes gets printed from both. Now I'll move to third program, which is the modules. So you can consider module as a file which have some Python code, and which can be called at any other Python programs. We can consider it like a library. It helps to organize the Python code, like the reusable code. We can import modules into another program. Consider a module to be the same as the code library, a file containing a set of functions you want to include in your application. So I have defined a module constructor, so converters. So here I have two methods which converts LBS to KG and KG to LBS. Now I can import the converter using two ways. First, import converters. It will import all the methods available in converters. If we don't want to import all the methods, just want a specific method, then I can import like this. So there are two ways it can be imported, either all or a specific method can be imported. Now KG to LBS is specifically imported, and from converters either I can call like this as well. So if I'll run the program, you can see these methods gets called, which is defined inside this class. So this is very useful. This is, you can, in your real-time project, this can act as a utility methods, like you can act, and that can be called into any other classes. The fourth thing that we'll talk about today is some useful methods, date, time and others, which is very useful in case of real-time programming. So if you want to print any random values, so in this you can print it using the random library. Random, it has a method random which generates value between 0 and 1. So if I'll print it here, so I'll run the program and you can see it gets printed. So from between 0 to 1 it prints all the values. Now I'll print some date. We'll see some date functions. So to use the date function, you have to import datetime library, and with the help of datetime library you can get the new dates and all. Okay, and dates can be in any different format. So let me show you. If I'll run this right now, you can see two dates, one with all the values and the second specific year. If I want, this will print a specific year. If I want, instead of day numbers, if I want Monday, Tuesday, like this can be done. So you can do the formatting here as well. Now If you want to create a date object, you can create like this: datetime.datetime. You have to pass year, month, and date. And if I'll run it, let me print it as well so that you can see this date which gets created. See, this method gets created due to these two lines of code. Now I'll show you some global variables scope. So as we know, anything defined inside the method has local scope, and anything which is defined outside the method has global scope. But if you want to define some variables of global scope from within the functions or methods so that it can be accessed outside, you can do it through the global keyword. Global keyword used to define the global variable scope. Okay, so if I'll print call my functions, and the var variable will get can be accessed from outside, since although it is defined inside, but it is accessible outside. Why? Because it is defined in global scope. So that's why I can see the value here. Now I'll show you some more utility methods. Mean and max, these are the mathematical functions which you can using which you can find the minimum or the maximum in any given list. So from this, what is the minimum? That is 10, and what is the maximum? That is 25 gets printed. 10 and 25 gets printed here. I'll move to next program. This is the last program for today, and this is one of the another popular thing in Python, lambda. Now lambda is a small anonymous function. So like functions, it accepts the parameter, and it can accept n number of parameters, but it accepts only one expressions. So here I am calling one lambda function with one parameter, this with two parameters, and this with three parameters here. Now let me comment the other things so that we will not get confused. When I will run it, the three lambda functions are getting called. First here with value 50, so, which is assigned here 50 minus 10, that is 40. Then a into b, 10 into 20, 200. You can see here, and 6 means 1 2 3 plus. If you'll sum it, you can get it here. Now we can use the lambda inside function as well. If we want to do something with some anonymous function, we can use like this. My function, I'll call this. My function is defined here. Inside this, there is a lambda expression. So if I'll pass 10, it will do 10 into 2, that is the 20. 10 into 2, a into n. It will print 20 here. So that's how you can use lambda. So this is just the basic of lambda that I have explained. Lambda is really cool thing in Python. It is also available in other languages like Java. So you can do more programming on lambda. So I'll stop the video here, and please like and subscribe the video. If you have not watched the previous video, please go and watch the previous video. If you have any issue in this video, you can write in the comment. If you didn't understand any of the thing, you can replay the video. Thank you so much.